Welcome everyone, I'm back with another video, and I said this video wasn't going to be just me talking about my workout, so that's true. I lied a little bit though, because I am going to show the workout at the end. Today I did deadlifts and bench, and it's the top triple week, so tomorrow will be squats top triple, so we'll talk about that after. Might even do a voiceover on that, but what the topic is that I changed from, that I've been wanting to change and not just show the same thing all the time, is strength. And how relative strength is, because everyone talks about strength being relative. For example, if you can bench 300 pounds for 5, like a top set of 5, then automatically that means you can rep 225 on standing shoulder press, because if you're strong on that, you'll be strong on shoulder press. Or if you can deadlift 500 for 5, top set of 5, whether it's conventional, or let's just say conventional, not sumo, conventional, and then stiff leg, you should be able to stiff leg like 450 for 5, because if you're strong on this, you should be strong on that. But if you never train shoulder, you never train stiff leg, that's not always going to be the case. Of course, there's some exceptions where some people are naturally strong and they can do a lift that they never even practice and be good at it. Like Julius Maddox, he doesn't even do incline, and his incline bench is really good. But he's like the #1 bencher in the world, obviously. But him and Eddie Hall had a little rep off on incline, and Julius Maddox beat him. But Julius Maddox is way stronger. But that's just one tiny example. And another example is my client Sam. He did 585 deadlift on sumo. First time ever doing sumo. And he had just maxed out on conventional. He's been doing conventional for years. He did 575 max and the 585 sumo. Hook grip, never does hook grip or sumo. He did 585. So 10 pounds more with sumo. And me, I had switched to sumo, and I'm strong on sumo because I'm very hip dominant. He's not, but I am. And I haven't deadlifted more sumo than I had conventional. But my sumo is very close to my conventional. I don't think I can surpass it because my tiny little thumbs can't handle the hook grip. But that's another example. But what I really want to get at, the main point I want to prove, kind of, it's not really something that I can prove or anyone can prove. It depends on each person. Every individual is different. Is lockdown. The gym's first lockdown, like mid-March, like March 14th-ish, 15, 16, 17. People couldn't go to the gym for 2 months and a half or maybe more. Where I go is 2 months and a half because that's how long the gym was closed. And people who didn't have weights at home couldn't train. So that wasn't the case for me. I had weights at home. The only con for me was I didn't have knurling on the bar for squats, but that didn't really affect me at all because I still got stronger. It was a stiff bar, not a squat bar. It was just a cheap X-Mark bar, and I didn't have a deadlift bar. That bar had no knurling, and it was super stiff, like in a bad way though. Like, I know that sounds weird. It's not like an Ohio power bar stiff. It's like a messed up, no knurling stiff, so I had to use straps. I have videos on my channel from that, and I was weak because the bar sucked. I wasn't spoiled with an actual quality bar like a Texas deadlift bar or even an Ohio power bar. I'm sure I could have done more on that. I'm sure of it. I don't think I know. I mean, we'll never truly know. But I had weights, and my deadlift kind of suffered a little. It was as if I had no bar to deadlift with, because I came back. I mean, I did 402 top single with no straps, and I did 405 with straps on the other bar and really curved back. So, I did, keep some strength. My max was 457 in December. So when I came back to an actual gym from March-ish, because that's when the gym shut down, to June 1st, that's when I opened back for us. I still had the deadlift strength without the straps, because I just used straps because I had no choice. That bar was horrible. And I didn't want to do like really low weight because of the bar and suffer from the bar, because I was going to have a good bar eventually. And I know some people who didn't have weights at all, and some people who really didn't have, like, they had been injured and like gyms locked down, and they came back like in August, even though the gym had been available, accessible. One guy in specific, I know he had a knee injury, so he stopped going to the gym December 2019, like pre-COVID, like even maybe November. And he didn't go to the gym because his knee was hurting. He couldn't do anything. He could barely squat with the bar, barely do lunges, barely box squat. So he got surgery like in February. He came back in August, so way past lockdown, because the gym had been open since June 1st. And he came back within 2 months, August to October. He was already benching 315, and his max before that was like 275. So much rest. December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. 9-month rest. Within those 2 months, he benched 315, and now 325. Almost got it. Almost. This is November, so 3 months later after he came back. And he's deadlifting 475, and before he was like at 405. And squat, I'm not sure, because that's a big knee issue, so I'm not sure after the surgery how the knee feels too much. I think I asked, I forgot, but I know those two. But the point is, whether he was injured or not, 9 months without lifting, he gained so much strength. So the reason I'm making this video is because I'm going to Peru for 30 days very soon, December 19th to January 19th. Everything's going to be closed. So I'm even kind of wondering how much weaker will I get. And I was in Peru last December to like January, the whole month. I didn't lift for like, a month I think. I'm pretty sure it was a month because I went to Mexico first and then there. So I was kind of worried too. But then I ended up having weights. So it was like 2.5 weeks, I think. So 2.5 weeks, and then I had weights because I was in the jungles of Peru. And then in the capital of Lima, where Tron lives, I had weights. And then the bar sucked. So bench and squat was cool. Squat wasn't that cool. Bench was normal. Deadlift, it was impossible. It was a really fat, messed up knurling bars, kind of like what I was going to get used to. And the months to come, I didn't know the gyms were going to close. And I came back, and I was stronger than ever. And I still had something. So even if you have bad equipment or not good equipment at all, I don't think it's a good excuse to say during lockdown you got weaker because of lockdown 2.5 months. There's a lot of people that came back stronger that I know took more than 2.5 months off, or maybe less than 9 months, because there was that one person took 9 months off. Some people like the rest and they react well to it. Like me, I've always reacted well to rest. When I take a week off, guaranteed I always come back stronger. My friend just took a week off and he doesn't feel that much stronger, but his coach is programming him to go heavy like on week 1, which doesn't make too much sense. That's their business, not mine. Doesn't feel that much stronger or about the same relatively, but when I take a week off, I love taking a week off. My body thanks me for it and I come back same or even stronger than I was the week before. I always have. I maybe always will, I'm not sure, but maybe in my youth it will be. And this month off, we'll see, January 19th to December to January 19th. That's why I'm debating if I want to compete in March or in May to qualify for nationals in July, because I'm going to take a month off and then have a 2-month prep. But who knows, I may come back good, so maybe I will do March, I'm not sure. But I also have friends doing that and I want to handle them, that's another thing. And my client might do it, so I don't know. So, May, I'll have more time to prepare. So even people like me who have seen people get stronger can worry about, like, will you lose strength if you take a month off, or like 2 weeks or more, I would say, or a month off or more. But that shows. You can look at a lot of people on Instagram. I've named a few, and there's probably even more. Like if you go on hashtags of powerlifting, that they took like so much time off. I've seen a lot that I didn't even know. People I don't even know. They took so much time off and they're setting PRs. I know someone who sprained their ankle, took a month off, set a PR on deadlift, and that's ankle where it's an ankle injury where you really need it for deadlifts. I mean, it starts right there, the mobility. And I know people who've taken like just time off, whether they all thought they were gonna get weaker, because if we take 5 days off, we think we're gonna get weaker. So everyone thinks that, and because of this whole 2020 lockdown, gyms are kind of rare right now, or home gyms, whatever it is. You may think you can get weaker, but that can be good, the rest. I'm not saying everyone will get stronger with a month off or more, but some do, some don't. It really depends, but the rest can save you. So I'm telling myself also that I shouldn't worry about this month off, and I think I'll react well to it. Even if I do push-ups and squat Tron for reps, I won't be able to deadlift because I can't. Well, I deadlift. I don't know what's a deadlift. I can't deadlift Tron. That's weird. So if I just do push-ups and weighted push-ups with her and weighted squats, or even just body weight, who knows, just something that should keep me where I'm at, because your strength doesn't just lose. It doesn't run away like that. Like, I've known another guy, my friend's stepdad, who lets me have these weights that I have at home. Thank him so much. And I'm buying more from Titan Fitness. Let's see how that goes. They're gonna ship January 14th. So Titan has some pretty cheap plates if you want to get some plates. That's off topic, but he hadn't benched in like 7 months. He had a home gym, so there's no excuse for him. He just hadn't done it just because he, I don't know, didn't have time. He's enjoying his retirement. He's old too, by the way. He's like 67, I think. And he looks in shape. He looks young. He did 2 plates for 3, and he hadn't benched in like 7 months. And I had trained him one time, and he couldn't even do like 225 without the slingshot, the normal red one. And then he just took so much time off, and he's strong again. So that shows taking time off isn't always a bad thing, and strength isn't that relative. That was a little bit off topic, but when you come back, and you do exercises that you never done, or even if you're not like taking time off in general, bench press doesn't translate to shoulder press all the time. I know weak bench shoulder pressers that bench a lot. And me, I don't bench a lot, but my shoulder press sucks. It used to be good, and my bench was weak. Like 4 years ago, I used to power clean the weight up, and do shoulder presses. That was the way I did it because I saw Lou Ferrigno do it in pumping iron, and that was the only way it counted for me. I didn't use a rack and take it off like this. No, I had to power clean it and do it up. I got up to 165 for a 3x3, and it was pretty easy. So back then, I was struggling with 205 bench, and now I'm stronger on bench, but I don't really train. I don't remember the last time I did shoulders, but when I was doing it, I even go down to my chin, like nose to like chin area, and even then, like I'm still not that strong on shoulders. And that's just one tiny example. And stiff legs, another example, that's a form of deadlift, and I'm not too strong on that either. And people who do lat pull downs, that's the best example. I mentioned it before. If you do a lot of lat pull downs, heavy and high volume, that does not mean you can do a lot of pull-ups. That's another example of strength is a relative. I know so many great lat pull down people. That's like the commercial gym go-to exercise for back, who can't even do a pull-up, or like 5 pull-ups without like kipping, which don't even count. Strict form, that's a huge example. Or seated cable row, whatever, but lat pull down is very identical to a pull-up. So that's another example. And also sled pushes. If you do sled pushes, that doesn't mean like if you go heavy on them and you're pretty fast or strong, like 4 plates and you're going, doesn't mean you're going to be fast at running either. It can make you explosive or more explosive, but it doesn't mean you're going to be faster than someone who doesn't do it. Because I used to do those. I mean, I was pretty fast back then because I weighed less, and I've always been pretty fast in general. I've never been the slowest guy. I've always been like top 5 fastest wherever I am. It doesn't matter where I am unless I'm like with super duper fast people. But sled pushes doesn't exactly mean you're going to be faster. If you lift weights heavy or do power cleans heavy, you will be explosive because you're training your hip flexors and your quads and all that, but it doesn't mean you're going to be way faster than you were before. You might feel faster because you're putting force into the ground, because running is about how much force you can put into the ground, generate force into the ground so you could take off and explode, but that could also be a downside with that extra weight you have on yourself. I hope this kind of cleared up any worries that people have of getting weaker. And maybe someone watching this still hasn't lifted since March, like mid-March, or is worried about going back because they may be super weak. But I'm here to say the video is about you won't get that much weaker. Like if you deadlifted 405, you're not going to be deadlifting 225 for 1. Or if you squat like, I don't know, 400, I'm using the same weight, you're not going to be able to do 225 for 1. If you bench like 300, you won't bench 135 for 1. You may have some, but it may be a little weaker. But I say, I mean, it depends on the person. 30 pounds isn't for everyone. But it may go down like 30 pounds less each one. Something like that. Maybe 50. But it won't be like 200-pound difference. Like, it's not that bad. Just get back on the program. Your progress is just halted. Now for the deadlifts and bench.
All right, let's get started with these deadlifts. So the usual, I start with the 155, and then I do 265, and then 309, and then 331, then 375, then 402. Then I think it was 419, and then, something like that. And then I think I did 440 for a single, and then I did my top triple at 445. I wanted it to be 452 at least, because I had done that for 3. And then my best is 457 for 3, which is a little emotional for me because I've done 457. That was my first max on my first meet. I truly believe I could have done more, but I like to do that or more for a triple, or, for anything except for a single, because a triple or even 5 would be amazing. But I ended up doing 446. I wanted to be a little bit conservative. I'm not peaking right now, and I do just want to go a little bit crazy because I'm going to leave for a month. But I had high hopes, and I just decided to go a little bit more. So I wanted to be reserved because if I miss it, that'll lower my confidence, and I'm gonna come back from the vacation really wanting to get that weight. Warm-ups did not feel great, as you can see. Some look messed up. Some were, I don't know, they just weren't the best. And here's the 446. Here's that ammonia. That doesn't really help. I don't know. I think that kind of messed me up. I should make a video on ammonia if it really helps. But here it is. I decided not to grip and rip because grip and ripping, I don't know, I lose grip of the bar when I do that. Grip and rip is exactly what it sounds like. I rip, I don't rip, but I lose my grip when I grip and rip with heavy weight. And that's something you don't want to do when it's heavy because it can slip out of your hands on a meet day. You don't want that to happen. So for me, maybe I should grip and rip slower, or maybe I should just stop grip and ripping with heavy weight. So I wanted to commit to grip and rip, but I'm not really doing it because even on my working set, you can see right here, which is 388.5 for a 4x6. Wait, was it a 4x6? It was a, no, 3x5. I'm way off. I could do way more with that weight, and it's light, but I was just tired from the top triple. But like I said, I do want to commit to grip and rip because I've been saying I would do that, but I need to maybe I need to go slower because I grip and rip way too fast. I bend over and pick it up quick. try to be like Larry Wheels, but he's so experienced with it. I'm pretty new to it, so maybe I should just go down a little slower because I see a lot of people grip and rip, and they bend over like slower. Some will go slower than others. Some take their time. Some go fast. That's just something I need to figure out on my own because I do want to do it on meet day. I'm a big believer that grip and rip is better. That's why on my top triple I didn't do it. That grip and rip is better for top singles compared to like any kind of rep work like working sets or like any top PR sets with 3 or 5 triples or 5s. So I don't really, it's not a huge deal if I don't do it on my working sets, but I do want to master it on like top singles at the very least. So I'm not going to do it all the time, but I still working on it. I still want to master it, and I still want to master hook grip on sumo at the very least. So I'm not sure if I'll hook grip in a meet one day because I'm still sticking with conventional. I'm not saying I'm going to do sumo in a meet one day because I do sumo hook grip, but I may want to just switch to hook grip when I feel like I've mastered the grip and rip, because like I said, you can't do both. I mentioned in both videos, so that's both are a work in progress for me. I feel like deadlift is like the main, everyone loves that lift. Obviously that's like the number one lift to go, the top 3 out of the big 3, the comp lift, squat, bench, deadlift. I feel like deadlift is the notorious one because there's no eccentric move. You just slam it. You just don't let go of the bar on meet day. You just slam it and you don't have to worry about the way down, and on the way up either you get it or you don't. And that's the thing, there's no eccentric on the way, but just concentric. Not like squat and bench, you have to go down, get up. It's questionable if it was a long enough pause on squat. If it was depth on deadlift, squat, like, wait, what did I say? It could be questionable if it's a long enough pause on bench, is what I meant to say. Or, depth on squat. That's what sucks because you got to go down and come back up. And that's what kind of jeopardizes the lift. But deadlift, you just come up. And that's what people like. Well, it's like picking up a box. I'm not the best at it, but it's so damn technical that you could learn something every single time you go. And I'm still learning something every single time I go. And what I learned on bench today is that I suck at bench, and I already knew that, but my bench is very like this was the year for bench. It felt so good, especially working out at home when the gyms were locked down, and when I came back I was very excited about it, but it wasn't what I was expecting. It didn't go up as much as I thought. Like I said, strength isn't as relative as you think. Just because your working sets are amazing doesn't mean your top singles will be amazing. And here's my top triple, 243. Decided to do it without collars and just go the old school way. And honestly, I'm so glad I chose this week because 232 was my top 5 last week. So I felt 243 was only right. This matches my PR or triple on bench, so it was okay. That third rep sucked so bad. I'm convinced if I would have paused all 3, I wouldn't have got him. But at least I got him touch and go at the very least. My touch and goes are okay. They're not like everyone else's touch and goes. There's some people touch and go like they're like touching and going before it even touches their chest. I know that sounds weird, but it's true. Their butt's already coming up. So working sets 215 was kind of hard last week. I have no clue why. So I decided to lower the ego and I did 210 for a 4x6 because I couldn't do 215 for a 4x6 last week. So I wanted to redeem that 4x6 with 210. And it was perfect weight because every set was like the 5th and 6th ones were hard. The 4th one too, but more the 5th and 6th. So I'm not going to call it an RPE 9 every set. It was more like an RPE 8, 8.5 because I didn't have 2 reps left in the tank. But it felt like about an 8, but it was hard, so I would call it an 8.5. I do believe in halves on the RPE scale. Some people don't, but I do. And bench, it felt okay. I did match my top triple PR, which is 243. I wanted to do that for 5, and I never got it. So at least bench is matched. PR, squat. Deadlift, no, it's a little under on the triple because I've done 457, and I did 446, so I was off by 11 pounds. Squat, I did do less, but I did 6 reps. So it's an okay, so far. We'll see squats tomorrow. I think I'll set a PR with the top triple 402. My last PR on squat was 387.5 for a triple. I wanted 402 that time, but it didn't happen. I was super tired. So I think I can set a PR at the very least on squat. And my top singles will be next week. Stay tuned for those.